Hi everyone, I'm Naps. Welcome back to another video. For those who've been following, I've been playing a Dragon Tail Assassin this season because I didn't want to play the meta Phoenix Strike build. We got to 99. I personally think this may be the best build for getting to 99. That's up for debate. And I thought I would share with you guys all the knowledge I have accumulated. This will be the final guide on how to make this build. Now, to get started, I'm going to show you the gear. I think it's easier to show you the gear first. So, with this build, there's a few variations you can use, but this is probably the most consistent and best build and most versatile that you could go. Okay, so using 2 mosaic claws, I have them in greater talons instead of the elite base, but this and the elite base of talons will give you a -30 base attack speed, so they're the fastest claws. And then in the extra skills, I went 3 Dragon Tail, and ideally, although very rare, you could have 3 to Tiger Strike and 3 to Dragon Tail, because Tiger Strike is the only charge skill that we need. All right, you need 3 charges of Tiger Strike, and that boosts up your Dragon Tail hugely in damage. If you look over here, my damage is like, what's that? An average of probably about a 10k per kick in an AoE. Insane, right? That's with no charges. Now, we're running a Flickering Flame, naturally, because we're using a fire skill, so that those 3 fire skills will go into Dragon Tail. And yes, you could probably get more damage if you used +2 assassin skills. I did look at doing that, some sort of circlet with 2 sockets. I could add some facets in there. That would be potentially more damage. Now, the thing is, this rolled like basically perfect. I thought it was sweet, and it is hard to offset the loss of fire res, and I want it to be capped. So I think this is a good choice. And the thing is, you don't want to get like, it's very good without being greedy. You don't actually have to be greedy with this build, even though I was a bit greedy, as you'll see. If you look over here with the strength, I was a little bit greedy on the strength, but look, I was just trying to push it as far as I could, and I got to 99. I didn't die. Okay, so anyway, Flickering Flame over here. And then I crafted this amulet. This amulet is sweet. 2 assassin skills, 6 faster run walk, 10 FCR, some lifesteal, big amount of strength, 29, and some extras, right? And basically, you'll see this as a trend. Strength is awesome for this build, okay? The more strength, it just multiplies so much with Tiger Strike that your Dragon Tail just comes out so strong, okay? Because both of those skills have massive multipliers. And we have an Enigma armor. Naturally want to teleport, right? And then we have these 2 martial arts, 10 increased attack speed, 9 strength, dual res gloves. Now, because in this build we're using burst of speed, you do not need a 20 IAS gloves. You could go for 3 martial arts, 10 increased attack speed as well, but I preferred having the res, and this also had strength. So these are very, very attractive for my build. Over here we have Myrmidon Greaves. Now, you need Myrmidon Greaves because we want our kick, because the kick damage is physically, it calculates your physical damage and it converts into fire, right? So you need Myrmidon Greaves to have the absolute hardest kick. Now, you could use Shadow Dancers, Up Gauze, any sort of Myrmidon Greave really, and they would have a lower strength requirement. So if you did go the lower strength route of the build, maybe that would be attractive for you. But because I was going all out on strength and I wanted the high resists because I'm running burst of speed, these boots are perfect. So I went with that. And then we have Arachnid Mesh on the belt. And so this plus my amulet, I had another amulet before, and it was 7 FCR. 7 FCR plus the 20 on the belt, that gets you to the 27 FCR breakpoint. I think that's like the 2nd or 3rd breakpoint, and it's pretty good. It's pretty fast for when you're not swapped. I'm currently swapped. On my swap, I'm currently got Wizard Spike and Spirit, or CTA and Spirit, and that gets you higher on the breakpoint, right? Then we have a Ravenfrost Ring because we cannot be frozen. Very useful. And then obviously we want as much attack rating and dex as we can, so we can hit things more consistently. That much attack rating is enough as a base. With the multipliers of your skills, you should be able to hit everything perfectly often, okay? I had a different ring before. If you watched the other video, I found an upgrade. 117 attack rating, 4 life stolen, 19 strength, 30 lightning, 29 fire res. This is awesome for this build. That's great. If you haven't developed any Cobra Strike charges, having a little bit of life steal early is good. But having 1 point in Cobra Strike, you're basically chugging a rejuve potion on every kick because your damage is so high, and that skill scales like crazy just from 1 point. So like full life and mana every single kick. Like that's why you don't need a lot of life. I'll get into the life aspect here. I only put in enough life to have about 1,000 life. With BO, it'll take you to 2k. That's plenty, okay? If you're a bit worried about it, you just don't put as many points into strength, right? You'll still hit hard, but I got to 99, didn't die. Like, I don't know, the build's really good, okay? Enough dex to wear the claws, and that's all there is to it with those stats. Now, I have a torch here, 15, 20 torch, 17, 20, 10 experience Annie. I have flame rift for the fire, sundering of fire immunes, and then I have martial arts skills here. And then here I have additional resistance small charms. Only thing I was missing was some cold, so I boosted that up a bit with these cold lifers. And I pretty much got it perfect. So I'm on 75 lightning res. If I take off this 4 all res, 171. So I've calculated it all perfectly here. It worked out, all right? And so I'll show you the skills. So you want to max Dragon Tail and Tiger Strike. Minimum requirement, okay? What you need to do. If you want to add some extra elements, in case you want to do even more damage, right? I'll show you, I'll get to that. You can max Phoenix Strike and Claws of Thunder. And I don't recommend maxing Fist of Fire and Blades of Ice because charge 2 and 3, where it adds the radius, that radius overlaps the radius of Dragon Tail. And that bugs it out. So you actually do less damage. You don't want that. It's an issue. It sometimes does work, sometimes doesn't. It's inconsistent and annoying. And you don't really, like with this build, you don't really want to be adding too many charges anyway. It's just a nuisance, right? That's the whole point of this. So if you don't like the annoying crap on the screen from all the extra charges, just don't use them. Who cares? Just use this. Dragon Tail. Good. Alright. So, yeah. And what else was I going to say? Okay, so with Burst of Speed and with 10% IS gloves, if you get your Burst of Speed to, I think it is 23, if you're slowed with cold or decrepified, you're only losing like a frame in your attack speed, okay? It's enough. So that's awesome. So you're always kicking, and that keeps you safe. You don't have to be using Fade. You just keep kicking, and you just it's like you're chugging full rejuve potions 24/7. And so, like, I mean, I had way too many full rejuves at some point. I just had to throw them away because it wasn't using potions. So 23 burst of speed, right? I think that's the sweet spot. Plus, it's gonna make you run faster. I mean, you can't complain about that. And so 1 into Fade, that helped me deal with like situations where things were hectic, and you still kick pretty fast even without burst of speed. And I used Mind Blast for converting mobs on the last seal in Chaos so that you don't lose your charge. And if you want to do Diablo really fast, you're probably familiar with this technique or seen people do it. And then I use a Shadow Warrior. And I use the Shadow Warrior over here. Where is she? There she is. I use a Shadow Warrior, and she will use the left and right click skills that you have on your tree, okay? So she will add Dragon Tail knockback kick in certain situations, very helpful, and she will drop death sentries for me to help clear the area, and that's very useful. So that's why on these claws I have 1 to death sentry. That saved me a lot of points in the skill tree. Now, what I wanted to mention about the Mercenary, so as you're progressing, getting Decrepify on enemies is also really useful. So you could use a Reaper's Toll. I was using a Reaper's Toll for a while on a Blessed Aim Mercenary. Now, it was working really good. Honestly, my damage was so high that it was just like, I didn't have to think about it too much, but I now use an Infinity. And is there much of a difference? Not really. Infinity is better because you don't have to wait for the Decrepify proc, right? On top of that, it will stack with anyone else using curses like Amp Damage or Decrepify. If you want to do the absolute most damage, it would be this plus Amp Damage, right? As I've shown in my other videos. Now, so now he's got Infinity. Change the Nirvana for the lifesteal and cure on the helm, so that we don't have to deal with being poisoned and all that, because our poison resist is not great. Okay, now you want, of course, if you want the poison to go out quicker, you could just use pop fade as well with the cure. Works pretty well. Okay. What else was I gonna say? Oh, so about the merc running might now. He was running blessed aim back when I didn't have attack rating on this ring. I feel like having a base of about 300 attack rating with the attack rating boost of Tiger Strike, so that gives you 425, and then look at the base attack rating of Dragon Tail with the damage. It's like 755 and 1030% fire damage. So like that percentage plus about 300 AR base is huge, right? So our chance to hit is really high. And so with that in mind, Cobra Strike is able to hit all the time, and you got a shitload of life steal there. You got 145% life steal, life and mana steal up to 290. So yeah, like I said, it's like drinking a full rejuve every single kick. Well, would you look at that? It's Terrorized Tombs. What a great time to show you the build. So we get our charges, Tiger Strike, Cobra Strike, and then that's all you need as a bare minimum, right? Things will die. You don't have to worry about all this bullshit on the screen, like flashing everywhere. Things die, okay? They all die in one shot. Now this build is similar to, say, like a Pit Circa. We just find it unique. See, this guy's Fizz immune. See how he's Fizz immune? This is where you have some problems. But if something's standing next to him, and I kick him, he dies, you see. And that's why you don't really need a Fizz Thunder. But yes, it's very, very good at sniping things, and it just kicks ass, bro. It's so good. Things just die. On any difficulty, things just die. Any difficulty, any amount of players, it's just killer. How many kicks for Duru, eh? How many kicks? Oh yeah, 3 kicks, not bad. Now, if we want to do even more damage, right? Where are we on the damage right now? 75 to 115k. Insane. I'll show you. We can add more charges, right? Now, I was saying, Fist of Fire 2 charges, and Blades of Ice 2 charges. It makes an AoE effect that overlaps this AoE that I'm currently doing, because it's a little bit larger. So, you only want to use Claws of Thunder, because that Nova comes from inside. It comes outward, instead of just being overlapping. So you can add Claws of Thunder like this. And then, to finish it off, use whatever Phoenix Strike skill is best for that area, right? So, Lightning's good for these guys. So 2 hits of Phoenix. And then we just add more damage, and now we're doing 78 to 149k per kick. And things just die, and then you get a little bit more AoE effect, right? I'll just zoom around, kind of give you an idea of how like sick this build is. You're going for 99, you're more interested in the unique packs, right? You want that XP off the unique packs, you don't care about the plebs so much. I mean, it's good to kill them too, but you know. They're all dead, 1 kick. And this, I'm telling you, like, on any difficulty of players, like, it's just nutty. It's just nutty. Like, it's just so satisfying as well, 1 kick. And, like, see how it's not as, even with Phoenix Strike there and Claws of Thunder, it's not too much noise going on, you know? Like, it's because you're not kicking, like, 50 million times. Now, say there are Fizz immune things like Ghosts that you want to deal with. That's where you use Dragon Talon instead with the other skills, and you can use it like you were a normal Mosaic Sin, right? Like a normal Phoenix Strike Assassin. This is what you usually see players doing. And look, without it even being truly maxed out, like the damage is still cracked, you know? Obviously on higher difficulties that would not be as strong, but then you just want that surefire, huge amount of damage in 1 kick, like... And you can just, and you don't get locked in animation like kicking things over and over. You just one kick, nice and easy, moving on. And we're just, like, we're powering through this and just casually powering through these tombs, you know? It's sweet. I also tell you guys about how you could potentially play this build from the start of the game. Very, very easily could. You could focus on Tiger Strike and work your way up the Dragon Tail without any extra, like without the mosaics, right? And what you would do is you would probably just keep getting your Tiger Strike charges, because you only have to invest in charging that up 3 times and then just dropping Dragon Tail bombs wherever you go. And if you put enough points in the Dragon Tail, the kick itself does very solid damage. And as you're progressing, you just want to make sure you got Greaves and then War Boots and then Myrmidon Greaves. And anything that gives you extra plus skills is just going to make you do way more damage. But then while progressing, I would probably go in the route of trying to max out Death Sentry and Lightning Sentry at the same time. So you'd be sort of like a trap kick hybrid as you're playing through the game. That way you can focus on dropping the traps, getting an early kill with Dragon Tail, and then having Death Sentry's corpse explode everything else as extra. And then while they're doing their thing, you can just fight and keep dropping charged or not Dragon Tail kicks as you see fit as you're playing the game. And all the usual stuff, like dropping Cloak of Shadows at the start, having a Shadow Warrior like I have here, like to assist with dropping Death Sentries, and like doing the crowd control of the Dragon Tail. She won't do a lot of damage on the Dragon Tail, but she will copy whatever is on your left and right click. It's so useful and not enough people do it. And then you can probably, and then also just, yeah, investing in burst of speed, but you probably don't have to over invest early. But it definitely could be really good as a progression build. And then if you are struggling with an immune of some sort, because you don't have Sunder Charms yet, you might encounter a lot more Phys-immunes like Ghosts if you're an Arcane or something. Then you just drop a point into these, like into these extra elements, and just use them as you go, right? Like you could probably just invest in just Fists of Fire, and you could have Lightning Fire down pat. Because if you got a Phys-immune and Dragon Tail, it's not going to pop off, but then Fist of Fire will, you see. And then once you get the Claws of Thunder, I think you're sweet. I think you'd better just go with Claws of Thunder, and then you don't have to worry about the overlapping stuff I was telling you about. Now, the way you could play this build as an alternative, right, is there's an old school build that people used to use where they used Lacerator as the main hand. Now, Lacerator is this item here. Now, I don't have enough decks to use it at the moment. I did at some point in my original build that I showed off, but basically, it's so convenient. It happens to be 33% chance to cast Amp on striking, right? So, what do you know? You happen to need 3 Tiger Strike charges. So, you hit 3 times, hope Amp hits in the process, or just wait for Amp as you're hitting him with it, and then hit him with Dragon Tail. And, of course, you have to remember, you're only actually losing 1 charge. It's not like Dragon Talon where all the charges are getting unleashed because you're kicking so many times. It's actually just 1 charge. So, if you kick once, then you're down to 2 charges, then 1 charge. And because of the way it scales, just 1 charge is actually quite a lot of damage. So, you could get quite far using a Lacerator. Then what you could do, the endgame build was you would be a Lacerator plus a Phoenix Shield, the negative fire res. It would also be useful for survivability, but of course, I think that this is still the fastest because you just never lose charges. Alternatively, 1 Mosaic with a Phoenix Shield, I think could be pretty cool actually. The only thing is that you wouldn't be able to be like, you wouldn't have to be able to like really diversify the elements as reliably, because you, at least with if you add one of these extra elements on top, then you know that the charge is going to stay around because you've got 2 mosaics, right? But 1 mosaic, you could still definitely like constantly use Dragon Tail and just keep an eye on whether you've lost a Tiger Strike charge and still do really well. But honestly, the Lacerator way could be really cool. I saw a lot of it back in LOD. Well, not a lot, but like sometimes I'd be like in a Bale game and be like, how the hell did this assassin just take a chunk out of Bale? I've never seen that before. Um, so yeah, it's pretty cool. Uh, so gear alternatives, if I wanted to really push things as well, is like um, I could scrap the IAS on the gloves, invest more into burst of speed with some plus skill on the helm, and then I could turn that into say like 3 martial arts, 20 strength gloves. I don't know how high strength goes on the gloves. I think it might be 30. So like 3 martial arts, 30 strength if you really, really, really wanted to push things. But honestly, I'm already in overkill zone here. It was just for fun, for damage. You can probably push your life to like 1500, 1800, 2000 on bite and still do a lot of damage without the multiplication of strength. But honestly, hitting hard just feels so good. And I'm going to do some Uber speed runs with it, see how I go. Um, I know I won't die. I know for a fact I won't die. It's just the life steal is just fucking insane. So yeah. And yeah, I think I've covered everything. I think I've covered everything, and I want people to try this out because I don't see anyone playing it. And what I recommend is getting in early and doing this before people figure it out, because Dragon Tail claws are so fucking cheap, dude. They're so cheap. Um, and I think the only way you can get Tiger Strike on a claw is to find it on a lower difficulty, and that makes it really hard because no one really sells Tiger Strike claws, but they do find Dragon Tail claws, and so yeah, so that's the situation. I think I saw one person on Tradery selling a Tiger Strike claw, and it was like one to Tiger Strike, and that was it. So, but if you look at how, if I think with the skills, I think Tiger Strike actually ends up being more valuable than Dragon Tail at the end game of like the damage bonus per point. So I would ideally I would actually have 3 to Tiger Strike instead of Dragon Tail. But the only issue with that is if you don't have charges, Dragon Tail will be weaker. So it's up to you to figure out what you would prefer with that. But I'm happy with Dragon Tail. The damage is huge. It's very good. And the only optimizations I can really think of beyond this, if I wanted to take it a different direction, is push more strength. Somehow get a 2 soccer, 2 assassin skills, high strength circlet with fire res, because without this resist fire aura, you've got like no fire res. You'd have to somehow do that, then somehow get 3 martial arts strength gloves on top of that to really like pump it up, and then on top of that, like you're gonna have to probably have a resist ring. But if you wanted to get like a skiller ring, just even take it beyond. But as you can see, I don't even fill my stash with martial arts skills. I'm not like that. I actually like picking things up. I'm not too greedy on the damage, except it does look like I'm really greedy when it comes to the strength. But look, it was fun. It was a really good build. I enjoyed it. It was definitely the easiest 99 I've done by far. Not even close. Used to be Amazon, and I've now got every class to 99. And so what's next is I'm gonna probably do another video outlining I did some unusual builds for getting to 99 on these other classes. Not all of them, but there was always something about them that was different. And it's because I sort of theory crafted that it would be more effective to do things a certain way in terms of when you're wanting to be efficient in high player count games, in builds that are not typically very good at higher player counts when they're playing alone. Namely, like, for example, the Druid can struggle in higher player counts as well, but I found a way around that too. So if you'd like to know more about that, drop a follow and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be making more content. And then as for the game itself, now I have 99 of every class, I will move on to hardcore and get 99 on every class there. And like I started with this journey, I started with the barbarians. I'll be back to barbarian hardcore next ladder. until then, I've got quite a lot of time because I got to 99 quite quickly. I'm just going to be playing with the boys, doing whatever, live streaming it, helping people out. And yeah, so stop on by twitch.tv/NAFZ, NAFZ, if you would like to follow. And yeah, just having a good time playing Diablo with the boys, and I will catch you guys around. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. I may have missed something. I hope I didn't. So yeah, thank you guys, and I'll catch you later.